Hey there, this is DelVecchio from websiteprofitcourse.com, and in this quick tutorial you're going to see exactly how you can create a photo gallery within WordPress, and I'm going to take it one step further and add a cool add-on that's going to make the design even better. Right now I already have all the photos uploaded and I'm on the media library page within the WordPress admin area, and I just want to note two things here. The first is when you click on a photo, you're going to see within the URL that the end of this URL contains item equals and then a number. And this is your unique ID for this particular attachment. I just want you to keep this in mind because I'm going to show you a way that you can edit the gallery with code in a few minutes here. And the other thing that I want to note is I resized all of these photos before uploading them. And I tend to do that because, even camera photos these days, they're huge. So I do this automatically using Photoshop. They have something called the image processor. But if you don't have access to Adobe Creative Cloud, I'm sure you can find an online editor to do this. And just a rule of thumb, I usually make the pixel width somewhere around 900 to 1,000 pixels. Oftentimes the full width might be 3,000 or 4,000 from the original photo. And I want to show you the sizes of both of the resized and the original photos. So these are all the resized ones, and if I highlight them, it looks like the total file size is 2.7 megabytes. And if I go over to my original photos, let me highlight them, and you can see it's 30 megabytes. So we saved more than 10 times the amount of space by doing this image resizing. And that's going to save you on web hosting, disk space, and bandwidth when people are browsing your website. So these are all photos that I took. Instead of using stock photos, I decided to just go through my photos and pick some ones that I liked. So these are just a few along a trail near me. This is actually Parvin State Park. This one was in Maryland on the way to a campground, and when you pass by this field, you can't help but turn your head. So we had to stop and take some pictures of this. Here, it's a picture from the Great Smoky Mountains when I went camping there. This was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And there's a panoramic of that. This is Parvin State Park, the lake. An ocean kayak when me and a bunch of friends went to Outer Banks back in college. One of my favorite activities is golfing. This is the 18th hole of a golf course that I play occasionally. This is another great hole. I like this one because the shot into the green is, the view is blocked. So instead of seeing the flag, they have this target behind it because you can't see the top of the flag from the hill. I just think that's one of the more unique features that I've seen on a golf course. And there's a concert picture, a butterfly, and another hiking picture. So these are some of my favorites that I've taken over the years. And we will get into adding these to a gallery. So I'm going to go over to my posts page, and this is just a clean installation of WordPress. I didn't even edit the first blog. They always have this Hello World blog. So I'm just going to go right in here and build the gallery in here so you can take a look. So all we need to do is click the Add Media button. And on the left side here, there's a menu, and we can choose Create Gallery. And you can either upload your files if you haven't done that already. If you have and they're from the media library, you can go ahead and select the ones you want to add. So I'm just going to select them all. And I also have captions added to these. And once we have them selected, we'll just click the Create a New Gallery button here. And we have a couple settings that we can select. So you can either link to the attachment page, which is a separate WordPress page. I don't like to do this. I usually like linking directly to the large media file. And then you can choose the columns. 3 seems to be a pretty standard way to go. You can randomize the order, and you can choose the size of the photos. I'm going to do a thumbnail. I think that's the best size, and then when you click on it, like I said, it's going to go to the full size photo. So we'll insert this gallery, and this is how it looks on the visual tab. And if we go into the text tab here, this is going to show you the code. So the gallery within WordPress, it's generated using this short code. You can see link equals file. That's what's going to link it to the media file. And then right here, these are the IDs of the attachments that I showed you before. So if you wanted to edit this, you can either go back to the visual tab and click this edit button and do it through the visual interface, Or if you upload a couple photos, you can take note of the ID and you can just add them to this comma separated. So, let's say you have ID number 55, you want to add that. That's how you would do it. So I'm just going to remove this since that's not a real photo in our media library, and we'll update the page. And then let me click on the link and take a look at the gallery. And here we go. So you can see I have the 2017 default theme installed. And here's our gallery. And then when we hover over the images, it kind of makes it a little bit transparent. And if I click on the image, it's going to bring us to the file itself. So the next thing that I'm going to do here, now that we got the gallery in place, I'm going to add a tool called FancyBox. And right now you have to do this manually with code. And on their website is fancyapps.com/fancybox/3. I think that's the version 3. If I scroll down here, they mentioned that they're working on a WordPress plugin. So it's not available right now, but it says that it's planned to be released in the fall. So if that's the case, then you might want to check it out to see if that's available. But otherwise, I'm going to show you how easy it is to install. And the one thing that we need is access to the header and the footer area. Or I'm sorry, not the footer area, but the header area. And I'm going to do that through a plugin called Insert Headers and Footers. So let me go back to the admin area, and then I'll go to plugins, and we can search for this. I'll do add new, insert headers and footers. And this is what allows you to put JavaScript code within either the header area or the bottom of the site just before the closing body tag. And the theme that I use, which is iThemes Builder, they actually have this built into the settings for that specific theme. So you may want to look into your own theme settings. It's possible that they give you access to this and you don't need to use this plugin. This is a pretty good one. If you do need to use it, it's got over 500,000 active installations. So let's install it and activate it. And we can get to it from the settings here. So you'll see insert headers and footers under the settings menu. So within FancyBox, they show you here the quick start guide. You have to add jQuery code along with the FancyBox code. Now jQuery should be included automatically with your WordPress installation. So I'm going to copy this and paste it into the header. I'll delete these empty spaces right here. And the first line here, this is an HTML comment. So anything that has this side caret, exclamation point, and then the 2 dashes, anything within here before the ending tag, that's a comment. So I like to just simplify this, and I'll just do FancyBox. And as I mentioned, we shouldn't need this first script because this is including jQuery, which is already going to be included with WordPress. So let me delete that, and all we need is these 2 lines here, which this is hosted with Cloudflare, their CDN, and it's one CSS file and a JavaScript file. And then the other thing that you need to do here is when you're creating your links, they want you to add this attribute called data FancyBox, and if you add equals gallery, then it's going to make it into a gallery format where you can see the thumbnails within this modal window. So I guess I forgot to even show you what FancyBox does. This is when you click an image, it keeps you on the page, and it darkens the background and shows you the image here, and then you can scroll left and right if it's a gallery. Now, because we don't have direct access to the code here, as I showed you, the gallery is generated by shortcode, so we're not going to have access to change each individual link to the images. What we can do is we can call this FancyBox function, and we're going to see what HTML we need to target in order to do that. So let me go over here, and what I want to see is the class that is added to the HTML surrounding this gallery. So let me inspect it using Google Chrome Inspector. I'll bring it within the window here, and if I hover over it, the first thing is the post content is this div class entry content. So if I look one level below that, it looks like this is the div that is the gallery, and I can just use class gallery. So what I'm going to do is target this gallery class and any links that are within this, because those are the links to the images that we want to target and add FancyBox to. So I have this code written up. It's just a couple lines, so I'm going to copy and paste it in here. And we're going to add this to the footer right before the body tag. So this first line, we're adding the script tag here, or the script element, and anything within here is JavaScript code. And this is how you can instantiate jQuery, and within these curly brackets, that's where we can type in our jQuery code. So as I mentioned, we're targeting, just like CSS, jQuery works kind of with the same syntax, and we're targeting the gallery class and any anchor elements within that gallery class. And then we're going to add FancyBox to it, so it's as simple as doing this dot FancyBox with the parentheses. And if you wanted to specify options, like they have different ways that the modal window can open, or they got a bunch of other things. You can add captions. So there's a way to add options within these parentheses. And then we're grabbing that anchor element and we're adding the attribute data FancyBox with that gallery, as we mentioned before, so we get the gallery effect. So let me save it, and I will reload the page, and we'll see if we got it working here. And when I click on it, you'll see we have the same effect that we had on the FancyBox example page. And you can, if you click this icon up here, this is going to bring up the thumbnails, so you can go thumbnails, or browse the thumbnails this way versus doing it on the gallery page. That's a FancyBox feature. The other cool thing is that you can scroll through the images either with your mouse wheel or through the left and right arrow. So I love FancyBox. I pretty much install this on almost any site that has a photo gallery. And hopefully it's even easier once they have the WordPress plugin done. You know, I've been using FancyBox probably since version 1, which has been at least 3 or 4 years. Could be more than that. And it's always been my favorite Lightbox plugin. That's what the effect is called, a Lightbox effect. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more WordPress tutorials and videos on the business of web design. Now, if you're looking to freelance and make money from home, check out the link on this video and also in the description below for a giveaway that I have, the 15 tools to start your web design business. Most of these are free, and they're all big cloud services, so it's going to allow you to work from anywhere. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.